Okay, as we continue to watch the Strait of Hormuz to see if it's going to reopen, we're already seeing oil prices hit airlines and your wallet. Get this, major airlines just announced that they are raising fares and baggage fees to offset surging jet fuel costs. It's happening. And listen to this, Air Canada just suspended flights to New York and other locations. So let's bring in now President and CEO of Airlines for America, Chris Sununu. He's here now to help us all understand what's happening. Chris, you talk to these airlines every single day. Gosh, what a quick couple of hours we've had here. We had the Strait open and now it's closed again. I can't imagine what they're thinking right now. Give us some insight.
Well, so again, when you see the price of oil might go up 20–30%, but it's the price of jet fuel that has more than doubled around the world. And what the Strait of Hormuz is doing, it's really cramping that supply in Europe. Luckily, we're here in the United States of America. We have a lot of supply, which is good, so we don't have those constraints yet. We're watching. We're not as worried as Europe, but we are watching. We could have a very heavy summer. But the prices are really dictated often worldwide because our carriers will fly to Europe and they fuel up there as well and fly back. And so what they're really trying to do is not pass the cost on to the price. If you notice, the actual price of your ticket isn't really moving a whole lot, maybe 5 or 6%, but they're trying to find alternative ways to do it. And that's what you just saw there, baggage fees, right? Which is your choice, whether you want to bring a bag or not. So they're letting people kind of still have that economical option. They might be reducing some of the more frequented routes that aren't making quite as much money. So those might have to get pulled back a little bit. So they're trying to get really creative so that the fare price doesn't get pushed. But fuel is about 25–30% of the cost of running an airplane. So they're going to lose, I think the latest study about 2 days ago came out, they're going to lose about $25 billion at least this year. Wow. Just in because of the fuel crisis that they're really dealing with. So they're trying to manage through it as best they can. It's a very low margin business. I mean, these guys, I think the average profit margin in this business is 4%. Okay, so,
no way.
So they have a very little bit to work with. Yeah, they don't make a whole lot of money in any of this. So when you see something like a 30% of your cost doubling and tripling in price and trying not to pass that on to the customer as best you can, it's hard. It's a dance, but they're doing pretty well. Would love to see the Strait open. Would love to see some normalcy, and we're all hoping for a really strong summer.
Okay, I want to pull up the Strait map, actually, if we can. This is the maritime map. It shows live pictures of the boats really not going anywhere, stuck right now, backlogged. The president says, Chris, that we're going to get some more information tonight, so we'll see. If these oil tankers, let's say, start moving again tonight, and you can maybe see hundreds of them right there, backlog, how quickly do you think will this start to impact jet fuel prices here at home? Like, how long does it take to get back to us?
It'll be slow because remember, the folks that are flying today might have bought their tickets 3 months ago before this crisis even happened. And the folks that are buying tickets today might be flying 3 months from now. So there is a bit of a lag here, right? I think you'll see the price of the gas pumps come back, probably not in the next month, but they'll slowly get a little more. They'll even out a little bit as we hit fall. But it does take time for these things to really kind of show up either at the pump, and especially given the lag because of how people buy their tickets. That's why they're trying their best not to put it on the price of the ticket, but on some of these other options that you can kind of buy into or not, right? And that way you can still buy that affordable. But I mean, look at what's happening. You see what happened to Spirit, right? Spirit is, a lot of people fly on Spirit. I don't represent Spirit, but it's a great cost-effective option for a lot of folks. And when that merger, the previous administration didn't allow the merger to go through last time, it effectively killed Spirit Airlines. Wall Street Journal did a great article on that. So airlines like that, when you compound it with this fuel crisis on top of it, it's just too much to bear for a lot of them. So unfortunately, we're hoping that the damage kind of stops there at Spirit Airlines, but they're all taking massive hits and they're all trying to be creative to make sure that folks can keep flying affordably without having to bear the brunt of the cost. But they're eating a lot of it. Holy cow, are they eating a lot of this cost?
Let me ask you this last question about what's happening in Europe, because I think Europe is getting hit much harder. The IEA just said that Europe has maybe 6 weeks or so left of jet fuel. I mean, that's mind-blowing. And I'm thinking about how this affects international travel, because people, like you said, they book out like 6 months, a year in advance sometimes, especially those international trips with their families. I mean, how do you see that European jet fuel affecting us?
Yeah, it's going to be huge because that's what you see going through the Strait. They only have about 6 weeks left. They don't have the supplies that we do here in the U.S. So what it means is that international travel specifically to and from Europe could be very much impacted, especially when we have FIFA and the World Cup coming here. We're trying to encourage all this new international travel to come to the United States. But right now, worldwide, people are really kind of buckling in. They might do even domestically over there. Their prices are going through the roof, way more than you're seeing here. So Europe is in real trouble. There's no question about it. But that's not good for anybody, right? We need that world market, because it's not just airlines moving people. It's FedEx and UPS moving packages, moving healthcare, moving equipment, moving the world's economy. It all costs, that every pound, every gallon of fuel costs more money. And those guys are going to keep flying. The FedExes and UPS Atlas, they're doing amazing stuff. They're going to keep going no matter what. But it's going to impact everything. And that's why that lag, even if the Strait opened today, there's still probably a bit of a lag before we kind of get back to some normalcy. But hopefully we can still have a robust summer.
You don't think the airlines are at the point where we're not talking about a bailout yet, right? I mean, they've had a tough year with the DHS shutdown. We saw what happened with that, and now this. Like, we're not anywhere close to that.
No, you could see, I suppose you could see that in Europe, because they're getting hit so much harder than we are, and maybe even certain parts of Asia, because, they don't have access to the fuels that we do, or they're so much more dependent on what comes out of the Strait than what we are. But no, we're not looking for any bailouts, but we just need, and we have, with this administration, a government that understands a nice, robust environment that, again, when pressures come on, they can either deregulate or allow the economy, right, the business of airlines to do its best to have that competition and create, when you allow the competition to happen, it's the consumer that benefits. But no one's thinking of bailouts or anything like that. This is just a heavy price tag for everyone to bear. Okay.
All right. Bag fees going up. Delta and Southwest increasing their check bag fees by $10. $10. Not the greatest, but also not the worst. Chris, great to see you as always. Thank you so much. Have a great Saturday.
Thank you.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.